Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is Tea Attacks and Deportations. Pretty much that's what I'm covered. We got a lot happening. Like, right, prophecy is moving very quickly and things are moving at a rapid pace. Right, Revelations 12 and 12 tell us that Esau Edom will move a great wrath because he had a short time. All right, so that's what we're seeing taking place, and we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, we see these different attacks happening, right, with these different individuals, right, that have been here in Babylon the Great. Scriptures say in Jeremiah 51, in 1, it says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon, right, fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." And ultimately, it goes into the nuclear missiles being sent. But we also have, foreigners, all right, individuals from different lands that were granted asylum here. We also had the mass migrants coming through the Democratic Party, right? And those are the foreigners that are here. And then you also have, the different wars that took place that allowed different people to come in, from these different countries, right? That's why Daniel 2 says what it says. They mingle themselves together, but they don't. I'll get it. They don't mix. So anyway, NOT for Daniel, Jeremiah 51 and 2, it says, "Foreigners will come and winnow her, blowing her away as chaff. They will come from every side to rise against her in her day of trouble." Right? Let me see what winnow is talking about. Blow a current of air through grain in order to remove the chaff. Right. And ultimately, those nuclear missiles will come, right, from a foreign country, right, somewhere else, ultimately. But we understand that we also have actual, foreigners here in the land that's also doing that, because this is the great melting pot, right? Grab this Daniel too. All right. And get it down here. Let's get to the point. So Daniel 2, and I'll just start at 40. It says, "In the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, right? For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise." Now, this fourth kingdom is the Roman Empire, right? And we are currently in the revised Roman Empire, right? Through something called the Renaissance period, right? Renaissance means rebirth. And now what we have here is America, right? This is the revised Roman Empire. It says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." And they're showing that strength now regarding their army. They just closed down the airspace of Venezuela, right? So more than likely, pretty soon they will roll up in that place, right? Wars and rumors of the wars the scriptures speak about when we get towards the end, and we are here. It says, "And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." And it's strong militarily, but it's broken with their decision making, right, in their council. It says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." Right, and these devils have mixed and brought people here now, and now at the end they're trying to heal themselves, right? They're trying to heal their bruise. The scriptures say there's no healing of thy wound, right? Right here it says, Jeremiah 51 and 9, it says, Jeremiah 51 8, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And these people that you're seeing, what are these Afghan nationals that are doing, saying they're going to attack and are attacking that's here, they can't leave. They're not supposed to leave. A lot of them, because they have worked with the military. They share secrets, American secrets, so they can't go back to where they came from. So they're stuck here. So they're going through what everyone is going through here in America now. Basically just struggling. They don't want to be here. So, but there's no healing. So they're trying to basically make America white again. Pretty much. That's exactly what they're doing. And trying to change the mindset of the people back to that type of mindset, but it's not working. All right, it's not working. Yeah, so they have mingled themselves with these different wars, and they're not mixing, right? And they're fighting. NOT for Daniel 2:43 says, this mixture of iron and clay also shows that these kingdoms will try to strengthen themselves by forming alliances with each other through intermarriages, but they will not hold together, just as iron and clay do not mix, right? So ultimately, they're mixed here in Babylon the Great, and they're not sticking to each other. Okay, let me see. All right, so those fanners are here. Let me grab this right here because this is what I'm talking about. So it says Afghan national targets Fort Worth, Texas. And this is just after the Afghan national actually shot and killed a National Guard member. Okay.
We do want to continue with our top stories that we're following here. We want to bring you a bit of breaking news. I'm putting this up on your screen. It's from Brooke Taylor with Fox News, saying exclusive. An Afghan national was arrested on Tuesday after posting a video of himself on TikTok, indicating that he was building a bomb with an intended target of the Fort Worth area there in Texas. This is all according to the Department of Homeland Security. I want to put up some video that we have there of that suspect in full there on your screen. But we do know that court records are showing that the man is now being charged with making a terroristic threat at the state level. He came into the U.S. as a part of the Biden administration's Operation Allies Welcome, just like the D.C. shooting suspect. On September 7th of 2022, he was admitted as a lawful permanent resident. ICE has currently lodged a detainer on him. Once again, that is the current update that we have there from Fox News. Is Brooke Taylor, with them now reporting there that the Afghan national was charging Fort Worth, Texas, has now been arrested, according to the Department of Homeland Security. I do want to also show you this live look that we have there in Dallas, in Fort Worth area, there in Texas. If we get any other updates or details.
All right, so that guy basically posted post, on the media saying that he was building a device to cause harm over here in Fort Worth area, which is in Texas, and they captured him. So we got this video here. It says, warning, the National Guard preparing for a major attack on the U.S. Prepare now. And he goes into, actually kind of forgot, but we're going to get it right here. But basically, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. And we understand that this devil works order out of chaos, right? So they need to bring in the chaos to bring in their new world order, right? Where everyone be micro C-hipped, right? And traced and tracked, right? Because that goes into the MOTB. And people are not willingly just going to accept this thing, right? So they're going to do something ultimately, right? And it, they've did the 9/11 event. He talks about that. He says that the top general of the National Guard is saying that he feels like we're in that time now, just before the 9/11 happened, right?
This is big breaking news. The National Guard is now preparing for a devastating attack on the United States. They're now warning and getting ready that we could see attacks from drones on major events, sporting events, potentially even the World Cup that's going to be hosted inside of the United States. So let's get into all the details here. You guys can see it says the National Guard rehearses stopping drone attacks at the World Cup. All right, this is very concerning, especially considering what we saw this past week with this attack on National Guard members. We will get into more details of that. Some more information is coming out, exactly what happened and who these people were. But you can see here, I wanted to get into this because this is concerning. It says here the Washington National Guard simulated drone attacks on Seattle's Lumen Field earlier this month in an exercise that put the 2026 FIFA World Cup center stage. The November 5th rehearsals, part of the Counter Unmanned Aerial Systems Summit, were hosted by Major General Gent Welsh, Washington's Adjutant General and Homeland Security Advisor. It says here the summit's key event was a tabletop exercise that simulated an array of drone attacks, one against Lumen Field during a World Cup match, and 2 more against critical infrastructure. The simulations explored possible drone attack sites, tactics attackers could use, and tested interagency cooperation in response to evolving threats. Quote, if you think about where the world was on September 10th, we are at a very similar place, Welsh said in a release, adding that the troubling findings of the 9/11 Commission report served as motivation for organizing the summit. Okay.
All right, so this general said this, he was able to post it. They didn't tell him to retract his statement. We had the governor of Virginia retracted his statement. He basically said that confirmed the National Guard individuals that got shot were confirmed dead. And then about 10 minutes later, whatever the case may be, he had to retract that statement and say he's getting conflicting reports. All right. But this guy here, this general that said, if you think about where the world was on September 10th, we are at a very similar place. Welsh said in a release, adding that the troubling findings of the 9/11 Commission report served as a motivation for organizing the summit. So they feel like they're approaching a 9/11 event. And pretty much that's what the people have been thinking. That's what it will take to bring forth the New World Order, and or kickstart whatever they're trying to do. And that's because also Esau Edom is just being revealed. He's being so revealed, and he's being found out in his ways and his schemes. They're not in the dark, right? So people are expecting something and waiting on something because with everything that's going on. That's how revealed that this devil is in these last days. All right. So I want to kind of just jump over to this deportations. You see what you got over here.
A few days ago.
To show you, he was part of this CIA-backed elite Afghan unit, and this right now shows some details where they operated in Afghanistan, but also the vetting process. Supposedly, they went through biometric screenings, in-person interviews, which is very interesting. And Lockenwall's connection here, he was assigned to this O3 unit, recruited and trained by the CIA to fight against the Taliban. This group, also, Rebecca, known for their brutality and called death squads. So you take that last point there that I just said, right? That they're known as these death squads, quite brutal. And that this man also went through one-on-one interviews, so we understand. What's your takeaway there? Could something have been missed in that process?
Well, it's very disturbing, and this is such a tragedy. We're going to learn more, but I'm reminded that in 2011, an Afghan Air Force colonel walked into an office at North Kabul Airport and blew up 8 U.S. Air Force service members and a contractor. That was an ally. The risks here are just very, very large, and that's why I'm really glad the president is going to go and look at other cases, and we must keep an eye on this radicalization of Islam and this threat that, frankly, now is inside our borders.
There's been reporting that those who knew the suspect when he was younger say that he had mental health issues because of what he witnessed in Afghanistan. So you got to wonder, without painting all of the people who are here from Afghanistan with one brush, whether or not there are others, though, who could possibly be suffering the same type of issues.
So you heard that there. They were saying that this guy was a part of these, quote, death squads. And for some reason, that wasn't a red flag. I was also reading people reacting to this, saying that when they were serving in Afghanistan, they felt like they couldn't trust a lot of these people. That's what people reacting were saying. They were former military and saying that they just didn't seem trustworthy, and they were worried about helping them, right? They always felt like they were going to turn on them. So there were red flags, and these things were just kind of swept under the rug and allowed to happen, right? We also have Trump just announced as well, too, a travel ban on, quote, all third world countries. And this is going to cause a immediate suspension of immigration requests and also initiate a, quote, full-scale reexamination of green cards held by immigrants from the 19 affected countries. They're saying that there should be around, or at least 19 countries that are going to be.
Right, and so all this just moves toward to the city's being troubled, right? Jacob's trouble and all of this. That's why we say Jacob's trouble is the world's trouble, and just different things that they're doing out there to make this deportation process speed up. Try to get people okay with shipping them off to these detention centers and things like that. We got this right here.
Brandon, developing now a blow to some within South Florida's Haitian community.
Tonight, the Department of Homeland Security announcing the end of protections for Haitians in the country with TPS. Local 10's Magdala Luisan is live in North Miami with the new developments that we are learning. Magdala, fill us in.
Yeah, so I'm learning from Santla, the organization, that they have been on it since they were aware that the current administration would be ending TPS for Haitian nationals. And because of this, they've been working with those Haitian nationals across South Florida over the last several months. And they tell me some of their clients were hoping this day would not come. Santla Executive Director Gypsy Metalis is one of many who got the notification. Temporary protected status for Haitian nationals will end early next year.
We were expecting this, and so no surprise there. But I was still a little bit shocked that such an announcement would be made, would be publicized right on the eve of Thanksgiving.
The Department of Homeland Security put out a federal notice that says Haiti no longer meets the statutory requirements for temporary protected status, and Haitian nationals who have been in the U.S. need to leave. Federal leaders also say, quote, allowing Haitian nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is inconsistent with U.S. national interest.
We've been insisting that parents have a formal guardianship agreement with the individual in whose care they want to leave their children. That's one. And so many people, so many folks with TPS who've been in the United States since the Haiti earthquake of 2010 have become homeowners, or business owners, have assets. And so we've been telling them too that they needed to make sure to take care of those.
Exactly. So nothing is gonna go smoothly, right? We're entering into Jacob's trouble, which we already hear, but it's just intensifying. And you got different things here south of Florida. Haitians fear deportation, right? Haitian man, permanent American resident, deported after jail time. Different things happen, and all these things point to a time like never before. Daniel 12:1, it says, and at that time shall Michael, right, the archangel Michael, stand up, the great prince, which stand up for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, right, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So things are gonna move fast, right? Things are gonna move fast. They're gonna, bring these things out. The deportations. You got these different Afghan nationals that's threatening to just blow things up. So all these things are going to be happening at the same time. They're calling them death squads. These individuals are still here. They're going to be roaming the streets, trouble, trained. You see their CIA, trained by the CIA and things like that. Different people, even regular Americans that been in the army, that's veterans now, and gun owners, and people that take the fighting classes, and all these different things are all going to be here happening, right? Different explosions. We have animals, leaving dwelling places, right? All these things happen at the same time, right? Jeremiah 30:6, it says, ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, and he is the elect, right? Those of us that return back to the Heavenly Father, right, and seek him, right? The hopeful elect. All right. This is second Ezra 15:14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. We just seen that with these Afghan nationals, you know, um, attacking the National Guard. And like I just said, and the lady said there, these different people that have these, protective statuses here in America that have to be kicked out. They have homes, businesses, different assets. Like she said, some people are worried about their children. So it's not just going to be like, okay, get out of here, leave. And mind you, they cancel this thing. It's about to be December, right? And like in 2 days or whatever the case may be. And then it's January. So it's like 1 month, and you got to be up out of here, So it's going to be trouble. It says a man shall desire to go into a city, and all that's going to do with the National Guard here and them trying to, rush and do these things is cause trouble here. Nothing's going to go well for this place, right? Babylon the Great. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and great tribulation, right? And that is also brewing, right? Trump, stopping aid, stopping the food going to the food banks, stopping these, EBTs or whatever the case may be. Even the farmers are upset. Crops is down. Bill Gates buying up all the farmlands. And it's kind of like what they're doing with the houses. I'm seeing the company BlackRock is buying up like 50,000 homes at 300,000 a piece, right? And basically, they say that they're, I guess, causing the prices to change where to the fact that you can't afford it. So the devil is at work, right? So a lot of homelessness too, and that's already happening because people are losing jobs. So it's just one big, chaos ready to happen pretty much, So, hey, just warning on that, be mindful of these things. We're at the end. Let me grab this Ephesians 5:15. Ephesians 5:15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. All right. Okay. So a shalom to those who elect, which consists of men, women, and children, shalom.